Hey folks, Quillyteen here, and today we're going to take a look at Warframe, the free-to-play, sorta kinda MMO, sorta kinda looter, very much shooter game. And really, you don't have to watch this whole video. You should just go get Warframe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Last week, I developed laryngitis and couldn't record for a few days, so this gave me a chance to just play some random games for fun. And something I've always meant to try was Warframe. It comes up time and time again on Reddit and other sites when people are asking for recommendations for games to play. As an old-timer, I want my shooters to be fast-paced and utterly bombastic, like Doom and Quake. I also really like games with a sense of progression, customization, and tons of loot. I want something to do, something to work towards. Borderlands obviously fits the bill there, but I was looking for something new, or maybe not so new, since apparently Warframe was first released in 2013, though you wouldn't be able to guess that given the absolutely gorgeous visuals and tight gameplay. I should take a moment here and say that if you do decide to try Warframe, you should definitely use a Recruit-a-Friend link to sign up, because it'll give you a 7-day affinity boost to help you get started. My own referral link is in the description box, and I'll get some bonuses from it too. If you ask someone the plot of Warframe, you won't get much of an answer, because the community is actually extremely careful about spoilers. Warframe players seem to be proud of the game's lore and mystery, and look forward to players discovering things organically. Your character is something called a Tenno, and you also are/control/possess something called a Warframe. This seems to be left purposefully nebulous when you start the game, and is part of the unfolding lore. The Warframes themselves feel amazing. They're like lightning-quick machines that print death and never ask for more magenta toner. The game is space ninja parkour with guns. The environments are vast and make fantastic use of verticality, but because of your unbelievable array of movement boosting options, you can traverse them in the blink of an eye. The combat is exactly what I was hoping for, a symphony of chaos, intermixing the staccato of gunfire with the concussion of melee strikes and an absolute explosion of lights and colors from your Warframe special abilities. Missions come in a variety of styles, from simple kill all the bad guys, to targeted assassinations, to area defense, to intricate infiltration and espionage tasks that involve bypassing multiple layers of security. Mini puzzles like hacking exist in most of the missions to add diversity to the gameplay, but are also so fast that your adrenal system never stops pumping endorphins directly into your brain. Each mission area is rife with chests, minerals, and hidden treasure to satisfy even the most voracious of loot goblins, though most of the time I focused on just finishing missions as quickly as possible without going out of the way to farm materials. I figured that means I can just start the next mission that much faster. At the time I'm recording this, there are about 50 baseline Warframes, with most of them also having at least one variant with different appearance and stats. You can customize your Warframe with skins, glyphs, and colors in what the community lovingly calls the Fashion Frame subgame. And the great part is, you don't just have to pick one Warframe. There are no character classes in the game. In fact, your character doesn't really have any statistics at all. The only thing that matters is what gear you're bringing to battle. At the start of the game, you'll be offered 3 frames: the sword-specialized Excalibur, the gravity-defying Mag, and the unlimited power Volt. Just by working your way through the main quest, you'll gain access to a handful more Warframes that you can swap on and off as easily as putting on a different jacket. And you'll actually need to use many different Warframes and weapons over time, because that's how the progression system works. Without getting too technical, each piece of gear you get starts at level 0 and can reach level 30. Things don't get intrinsically more powerful by leveling, rather they gain more capacity for mods, but those do make your gear stronger. You level your gear simply by using it. Kill an enemy with a gun, that gun gains experience points, called affinity. Not only that, every time you level up a weapon or Warframe, your character progresses towards a new mastery rank, which is essentially the leveling system for your character itself. However, as with your gear, increasing your mastery rank doesn't necessarily make you stronger. It just gives you more options and unlocks more content. The upshot of all this is that you are incentivized to try to level up a multitude of different Warframes, guns, and melee weapons as part of your journey, which prevents you from ever falling into a rut and making the game monotonous, despite being one of the most grindy games on the market. But here's the thing, a game being described as grindy is usually considered a massive negative. In Warframe, it's a defining selling point. You always have a goal, you always have something you're trying to level up, you always have a new toy waiting to be played with. It's important to note that unlike other looter shooters like, say, Borderlands, you're not getting full items as drops. Rather, you get blueprints and crafting material and build them yourself. It does take literal days to build some things, and maybe this is the EVE Online player in me, but I didn't have a problem with that. Waking up on the day when my new Warframe was ready felt like Christmas morning. I'm sure part of the idea for the long crafting time is that some players will want to use platinum, the real money purchasable resource, to rush crafting or purchase ready-made weapons and warframes directly. But it's important to note that Warframe is pay to speed up, not pay to win. Every piece of gear can be obtained through gameplay. It's also possible to obtain platinum by trading with other players. All right, I've talked about the good, so let's address the negatives. The first hour or two of Warframe is an absolute masterclass in how to introduce players to a new game. Through a narrative-driven experience, you unlock new game systems one by one. The story is your tutorial, and it's done so brilliantly that other games need to use this as a blueprint. But then you'll hit a wall, or perhaps a lack of walls, as the game sets you loose on the galaxy and you might find yourself a little lost. You've been introduced to all these new systems like crafting and modding and leveling those mods, but the game doesn't really explain how you should use these systems. It's also not exactly clear where you should go next in the star chart to progress the story or advance your character. There's a plethora of guides available online to help you get started, either on YouTube or the Fantastic Wiki, or on forums or Reddit, but if you're just hoping for the game to help you transition from the tutorial to the core gameplay loop, you'll be a little lost. Next, if you're like me, you might also have anxiety about the fact that except for a few story quests here and there, the default for missions is public parties. The first time you find yourself unexpectedly grouped with up to 3 other players who are blitzing through a mission at Mach 10 can be a jarring experience. You can set yourself to solo only or friends only, but I wouldn't, which is weird because I'm famously antisocial even in the most multi of MMOs. But the fact is that the missions are so short and it's basically impossible for any one person to screw anything up that I've never had a single bad experience in a public group. In fact, I look forward to being in groups, especially for certain mission types like defense, extraction, or interception, because it makes the experience much more enjoyable. And because even veteran players might be leveling up fresh, new level 0 weapons, there's no shortage of knowledgeable people, even in the early zones. This brings me back around to one of the incredible positive points of Warframe, the community. Somehow, what we have here is a multiplayer game that is overwhelmingly positive and helpful. The couple of times I joined what I perceived to be a more difficult and mission-critical situation, and I asked questions in group chat, I got friendly and supportive answers from the other players. Maybe it's because it isn't the latest, shiniest game, although it has been gaining players for the last 6 months according to Steam charts. Maybe it's because the missions are so short and can't really be screwed up by a weak link. Whatever it is, Warframe has one of the best communities I've ever experienced in an online game. There are many large, newbie-friendly clans that you can join immediately to gain access to a ton of new resources, or you can start your own with friends and experience the fun of a fully customizable and decoratable private space station where you can do a whole other tier of research. There's PvP, but I haven't done it yet. There are many different factions that you can build rep with by doing bounty missions. I have no idea what the endgame is like because I'm trying to avoid anything spoilery about the story or game mechanics, but people have been playing this game for a decade now, so there clearly must be something tantalizing there. Warframe also includes the greatest goddamn musical cutscene in all of gamerdom.
Peace to build a future, strong, united, working till we know the air and water flowing.
Want to hear more? Go earn it, Tenno. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
It's a bad moon, dreamers. Can you feel it?